Hello again to another Agakiller React, and today we will be watching Fallout TV show. What does it mean for the lore? And as much as I watched the show, and I really liked it, I think it's very well done, I can't say that I played the game. So I'll just jump into it and just see. Ooh, there you go. Oh, and it's from Wizards and Warriors channel. Oh, there you go.
The Fallout television series, executive produced by Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, has received high praise and
sorry guys, I need to check something. Is that the same? Sounds like the same voice that I'm doing reactions to the what you call it, Kings and Generals, the History and Battles playlist of Ottoman History and Battles playlist I just had yesterday. Okay, well, yeah, I guess it's a way to expand. I'm just kind of curious because I'm a bit of a since I start watching a lot of anime, I'm start catching myself. Oh, I know that voice, and for some reason I do pay attention to who plays who, and I kind of like, oh, that guy was not a bad guy last time I watched him. So it kind of gets to me that I get put someone's voice into, I don't know if you know what I mean, like someone's voice into with the character that I watched first, especially if there was like a big character and so there's loads of hearing and thing. I do watch anime in both ways, dubbed and oh yeah, it is the same guy. Okay, so that's interesting. I guess it's a way to earn money, I guess, obviously. So here you go. And my computer, it's making a bit of weird things. Okay.
View scores from both critics and audiences alike for its action-packed storytelling, world-building, and for serving as a faithful adaptation of the Fallout game series, capturing the core essence of what makes the Fallout games so unique and fascinating, including humor, while also building upon the series' rich lore and adding a brand new story to the franchise. Exactly how faithful the show is to the lore of Fallout, a post-nuclear world built up over the past 25 years, will be the topic of today's video. We will examine the show's main plot points and connections to the lore, while also pointing out some Easter eggs and details fans of the Fallout series would notice. The world of Fallout is more bleak than beautiful a lot of the time, so maybe you would prefer to see adventures elsewhere. That's where our sponsor today can help you, Chepeku, makers of high-quality maps for tabletop adventures. Chepeku's massive selection of over 4,000 maps are perfect for D&D or Pathfinder campaigns, bringing the world of your adventure to life. There are so many scenarios, places, times of day, seasons, and variations that we will show only a couple of examples here, but suffice to say their massive library probably contains something you can use to bring professional maps to your table. You've probably noticed they come in animated form too. Chepeku maps can be seamlessly used in most virtual tabletop programs, really including wall and lighting presets for Foundry VT.
You know, I've seen someone having this, like, they big tabletop gamers. So basically what they did was they had massive, I think it was a 55-inch TV screen as a table, and then there was like a, I'm guessing a glass, like a plexiglass or something like that to just make it safe, and they were playing on that. So he could change different, like basically make the background of the actual game on the table different and stuff, and it was that was looking really cool.
There are tutorials for easily setting these up, and then you can enjoy the enhanced ease of use alongside visual and audio effects. To get these maps, head over to the Chepeku Patreon and subscribe to the Master Cartographer tier for $5 a month. That gives you everything and all the new stuff being added constantly, or you can go to chepeku.com to purchase individual map sets. So go grab these enhancements to your next adventure via our links in the description. The Fallout TV series takes place in the New California wasteland, around the Los Angeles Boneyard in the year 2296, 219 years after the Great War and 15 years after the events of the last game in the franchise featuring the Western United States, 2010's Fallout New Vegas. The show also marks the first appearance of the Boneyard since the original Fallout game, released back in 1997. It is interesting to note how Bethesda has traditionally set their studio's entries in the Fallout series on the East Coast, with the original West Coast stories of the first two games, as well as 2010's Fallout New Vegas, being handled by Interplay Entertainment and Obsidian Entertainment. In fact, many of the writers and developers who worked on New Vegas for Obsidian were former employees of Interplay or their subsidiary Black Isle Studios. The Amazon Prime show being set in the region after the events of New Vegas could mean a possible shift in storytelling for future games, with Bethesda taking a more direct role in the narrative of the series' West Coast story arcs. The show features three main protagonists: Lucy McLean, a resident of Vault 33 beneath Santa Monica, who leaves the safety and comfort of her vault in order to search for her kidnapped father, Hank; Maximus, a squire in the Brotherhood of Steel; and the Ghoul, known in his pre-war life as Cooper Howard, a former movie star and veteran of the Sino-American War, now living as a bounty hunter. In terms of keeping with the lore of Fallout, the motivation for Lucy's story arc, leaving Vault 33 in search of her father, has received some criticism for rehashing aspects of previous Bethesda titles, namely Fallout 3, which had a similar premise. However, this narrative decision seems to be both a callback to and a twist upon the stories of Fallout 3 and 4, in which the protagonists are searching for their father and son, respectively. In the Fallout show, the Brotherhood of Steel is depicted in a style similar to its original appearance in the first Fallout game, revering pre-war technology almost to the point of cult-like worship. This is definitely a reference to the original game's depiction of the Brotherhood of Steel as an isolated monastic techno-cult. Unlike the games, however, only the Brotherhood's Knight and Scribe classes are depicted in the show, omitting the Order's class of Paladins. Perhaps the Paladins will be depicted in a future season. Or maybe the show writers simply decided to avoid overcomplicating the Brotherhood's class hierarchy to a casual audience, or those not too familiar with the games. The Initiate, the basic entry rank for all Brotherhood recruits in the games, is also never mentioned, and instead the term Aspirant is used for entry-level recruits training at the base. Furthermore, the title Squire seems to be used in the show to denote a rank for those recruits who have been promoted above Aspirant, appearing to serve alongside Brotherhood Knights as their aides and assistants. In Fallout 3 and 4, the term Squire is used in the East Coast Brotherhood for children serving in the Order, and as such they were not allowed to participate in combat operations. Another fun little reference to the Fallout games is how the Brotherhood Squires seem to carry fully loaded equipment packs for their knights on missions, a humorous callback to how most players use their companions as a mobile baggage train for storing extra inventory. Although it is not explicitly stated in the show, it can be logically assumed by players of the first two Fallout games that the Brotherhood of Steel's base depicted in Episode 1 is the organization's original chapter, headquartered at Lost Hills in New California, or at least some facility near Lost Hills. However, judging by some of the dialogue in Episode 1, it sounds as though the Lost Hills chapter is no longer the supreme governing body of the Brotherhood of Steel, or at the very least, it has lost much of its original power. This is hinted in Episode 1, when the Elder Cleric briefs the assembled knights and squires at the base on their new mission, which he states comes from the highest clerics in the Commonwealth. The Brotherhood of Steel's chapter in the Commonwealth was shown in Fallout 4, and had earlier appeared in the Capital Wasteland during the events of Fallout 3. It's also been stated, despite earlier erroneous reports giving it a different name, that the Brotherhood airship appearing in a few scenes of the TV show was in fact the Prydwen, the same airship used by the Brotherhood in the Commonwealth. The mentioning of the Brotherhood of Steel's chapter in the Commonwealth and the appearance of the Prydwen in New California brings forth new questions for the lore of Fallout. Did the East Coast chapter somehow gain supremacy over the other chapters of the Brotherhood, even on the West Coast? And if the Prydwen is being shown in the Amazon series, does this subtly indicate that either the Brotherhood of Steel or Minuteman endings of Fallout 4 are the canon endings of that game? In Fallout 4, siding with either the Institute or the Railroad leads to the Prydwen's total destruction at the end of the game's main quest. Granted, it could have been rebuilt in the 9 years since the events of Fallout 4, but it is still an intriguing question.
Well, yes, it is an intriguing question, especially for someone who never played the game. I watched Eric play Fallout 4, I believe, years ago. And it got my attention, but I was playing something else back then, so I didn't really got into it. And I was this couch potato sitting next to him while he was playing. I did find it interesting, but it's just never really started myself. So that's happened. It's definitely a game that I would play, but there's not enough time for me to play all the games, and I haven't really played any games in a really long time, like seriously long time. So yeah. And what else is there? I can't really add much, but like the whole show that we watched last year was actually we really enjoyed it. It was really cool, really well done, in my opinion, and I'm definitely waiting for another season. There were things that I couldn't understand because obviously I didn't play the game, so I was kind of lost on it, but you know, there's always Google, so yeah.
A new piece of lore introduced in the Fallout Amazon series is a mysterious serum that is used by the ghoul throughout the course of the show. From what is shown on screen, it seems as though this serum can either temporarily slow or even halt the process of degenerating into a feral ghoul. When the Brotherhood Squire Thaddeus consumes the serum in episode 7, it is shown as miraculously healing his badly broken foot. However, it's also indicated that the serum has begun to transform him into a ghoul or some other form of mutant. It's not elaborated further exactly what this serum is, but judging from its remarkable healing abilities and apparent side effect of ghoulification, it can be assumed to be some strain or variant of the forced evolutionary virus, which frequently appears in the games and is responsible for the creation of the Wasteland's super mutants. In the first Fallout game, Harold is transformed into a ghoul-like mutant by exposure to FEV. It's possible that in the now confirmed Season 2 of the show, the mysterious serum's backstory will be further developed and expanded on. One notable faction to make a brief appearance in Episode 2 of the Amazon show is the Enclave, the secretive organization acting as the continuation of the Old World US government. Though their appearance is limited to the first 5 minutes of Episode 2, the Enclave's presence on the West Coast presents even more questions for the lore. After the destruction of the Enclave's oil rig at the end of Fallout 2, it was stated that their control over the West Coast was severely crippled, forcing them to relocate to the capital Wasteland, or be hunted down as war criminals by the New California Republic and Brotherhood of Steel, with remnants still being prosecuted by the NCR during the events of New Vegas. However, in the 5 minutes of Episode 2's cold opening, the Enclave looks as though it has a fully operational base somewhere on the West Coast, probably in the New California Wasteland or in the former Northwest Pacific states. What twisted machinations are the Enclave up to now? How did they regain at least a small presence on the West Coast? These are questions that will have to be saved for Season 2. One of the most interesting big pieces of lore revealed in the show through Cooper Howard's pre-war flashback scenes is in the season finale Episode 8. During this flashback, Cooper Howard is shown eavesdropping on his wife, Barb, during a secretive meeting at the Vault-Tec headquarters in Los Angeles. At the meeting are several senior corporate executives that have been mentioned in previous Fallout games, such as Frederick Sinclair, who was referenced in New Vegas' Dead Money DLC, RepCon executive Julie Masters, also mentioned in Terminals in New Vegas, West Tech executive Leon von Felden, who is mentioned in the first Fallout game as being killed by Roger Maxson during the Mariposa Rebellion, and most notably Mr. House from Fallout New Vegas. During the meeting, Barb brings up the option of Vault-Tec firing the first nuke that would start the Great War. This was a huge piece of information for the lore of Fallout that has been brought up previously as one of the theories for how the Great War started, that Vault-Tec in fact detonated the first nuke in order to push the US and China into a global thermonuclear exchange. Barb's statement in this scene doesn't 100% confirm in the lore that Vault-Tec did fire the first nuke of the Great War, and the fact that her daughter Janie is present at the birthday party scene in the opening of Episode 1, rather than being safe in a vault just as the Great War begins, seems to contradict this Great War origin theory. The fate of Barb and Janie Howard remains unknown at the conclusion of the season, leaving their story and more of the ghouls' background to further seasons. Perhaps the most discussed and debated lore topic that arose from the show was the fate of the New California Republic. Halfway through the season's run and in the finale, it's revealed that Shady Sands, the capital of the NCR, which appears in the first 2 Fallout games, was destroyed by a nuclear device detonated by Lucy's father, Vault 33 Overseer Hank McLean. The most discussed part of this new development in the series' lore is exactly when Shady Sands was destroyed. In Episode 6, Lucy examines a chalkboard laying out a timeline of the NCR's history, from its foundation in 2189 to its rise to a great power in 2241 during the events of Fallout 2, and then, ominously, the fall of Shady Sands in 2277, followed by a chalk drawing of an atomic bomb. On the surface, this timeline date seems to heavily contradict the lore of Fallout New Vegas, which takes place in 2281. In New Vegas, the NCR is still a major power in the West, and Shady Sands is directly mentioned by numerous NPCs in that game, who act like it's still being inhabited. Initially, after the show's release, there were accusations by some fans that Bethesda was trying to retcon the story and events of Fallout New Vegas, but Todd Howard and numerous other writers for Fallout have confirmed that New Vegas is still canon. With this news in mind, it most likely seems that the fall of Shady Sands in 2277 was referring to the beginning of the NCR's decline, starting with the first Battle of Hoover Dam that year against Caesar's Legion, with the destruction of Shady Sands taking place sometime in the late 2280s after the events of New Vegas. Some fans have also suggested that the destruction of Shady Sands indicates that the NCR ending in New Vegas is non-canon, but that isn't necessarily true. Although the canon ending out of the 4 possible conclusions to Fallout New Vegas has yet to be confirmed in the series' lore, the NCR ending to the game could still be valid, as it could be explained that the New California Republic's annexation of New Vegas backfired, with the NCR's overextension problem mentioned in the game only growing worse afterwards. Once again, these are all just possible theories that the community has thrown around, but Todd Howard has stated in interviews that he wanted to ensure that the Amazon show didn't confirm or invalidate any of the endings to Fallout New Vegas as canon. The other question that fans have brought up regarding the destruction of Shady Sands is the precise fate of the NCR as a whole. Although the NCR was definitely crippled by the loss of its political capital, to believe that the entire Republic has subsequently collapsed is stretching it a bit. A holodisk in Fallout 2 states that in 2241, the NCR has a population of about 700,000 citizens, with just around 36,000 people making up the population of Shady Sands itself. The NCR has been established in the lore as a very large faction, divided into various states and local administrations. The loss of the central government and political capital would severely weaken the NCR's position in the New California wasteland, but it is unlikely that the Republic has completely fallen. Overall, despite a few lore inconsistencies, Amazon Prime's Fallout TV show has proven to be an excellent adaptation of a popular video game franchise, mostly fitting well with the established lore. Hopefully, subsequent seasons and content will build up more on the grand narrative and expansive lore of the Fallout franchise. We hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let us know what you think about the show and the new ideas it brought to the Fallout lore. We'll talk about the Fallout universe in the coming months, so make sure you are subscribed and have pressed the bell button to see it. Please consider liking, commenting and sharing, it helps immensely. Our videos would be impossible without our kind patrons and YouTube channel members, whose
Okay, so it seems like it's from the same makers of the Wizards and Warriors. It's from the Kings and Generals, because it's kind of like how it is. But anyway, that was really cool. It did explain a lot to me about the Fallout. Like I said in the beginning, I watched the show, I haven't played the games. I watched Eric to play one game a bit. I don't think he had finished it, but that's kind of Eric's thing, that he doesn't finish it. A lot of things, so yeah. What do you think about this video? What do you think about the show, and what do you think about the games? Because I'm definitely waiting for the second season. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and I see you tomorrow. Bye!